Sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, the king of Egypt. Pharaoh was angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief guard, in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. Oh, the chief baker put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. After they had been in custody for some time, each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were being held in prison, had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. When Joseph came to them the next morning, he saw that they were dejected. So he asked Pharaoh's officials who were in custody with him in his master's house, "Why are your faces so sad today?" "We both had dreams," they answered, "but there is no one to interpret them." Then Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said to him, "In my dream I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were three branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand." "This is what it means," Joseph said to him. "The three branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore to you your position, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. But when all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. For I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon." When the chief baker saw that Joseph had given a favorable interpretation, he said to Joseph, "I too had a dream. On my head were three baskets of bread. In the top basket were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating them out of the basket on my head." "This is what it means," Joseph said. "The three baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat away your flesh." Now, the third day was Pharaoh's birthday, and he gave a feast for all his officials. He lifted up the heads of the chief cupbearer and the chief baker in the presence of his officials. He restored the chief cupbearer to his position so that he once again put the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, just as Joseph had said to them in his interpretation. The chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him.
The two dreams of Pharaoh, and
Pharaoh.
it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 well flavored kine, and flat, flattered, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, isle flavored and lean flesh, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill flavored and lean flesh kind did eat up the 7 well flavored and fat kind. So Jehovah awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good, with the east wind sprung up after them, 7 ranked and full ears, and Pharaoh Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he spent and called for all the musicians of Europe and all the wise men thereof, and Pharaoh told them his dream, but they was none that could interrupt them upon Pharaoh.
Interpret.
Interpret.
Interpret his
Dream.
dreams.
Joseph remembered. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was worth with his servant, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed and dreamed in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream, and there was there with us a young man and Huber, servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams to each man according to his dream, and he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us. So it was me he restored unto mine office, and him to hanged. Joseph brought before Pharaoh. Go ahead.
Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, battle shed and well favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill favored, and lean flesh, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill favored kin did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still in ill favored as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full of good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And thy ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me.
$41.25.
Yep.
Turtle just jumped in, but there's catfish over there. See?
I do see. There's some catfish in water. I don't know if you guys can see it.
You can see them.
What kind of fish is it?
They look like blue dragonflies.
It's like some kind
Then
of.
Joseph said to the Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came up afterward are 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famines will ravage the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered, because the famine that follows it will be so severe. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners over the land to take a fifth of the harvest of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the food of those good years that are coming and store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh to be kept in the cities for food. This food should be held in reserve for the country to be used during the 7 years of famine that will come upon Egypt, so that the country may not be ruined by the famine. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh and to his officials. So Pharaoh asked them, "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then the Pharaoh said, "Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, this is one so discerning and wise as you shall be in charge of my place, my palace, and all of my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you."
Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his finger and put it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in a chariot as his second in command, and people shouted before him, "Make way." Thus he put him in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, but without your word no one will lift hand or foot in all Egypt." Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zaphenath Paneah and gave him Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, to be his wife, and Joseph went throughout the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from Pharaoh's presence and traveled throughout Egypt. During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentifully. Joseph collected all the food produced in those 7 years of abundance in Egypt and stored it in the cities. In each city, he put the food grown in the fields surrounding it. Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure.
Before the years of famine came, 2 sons were born to Joseph by Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh and said, "It is because God has made me forget all of my trouble and all of my father's household." The second son he named Ephraim and said, "It is because God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering." The 7 years of abundance in Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. There was famine in all the other lands, but in whole land of Egypt there was food. When all Egypt began to feel the famine, the people cried to Pharaoh for food. Then Pharaoh told all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph and do what he tells you." When the famine had spread over the whole country, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe throughout Egypt. And all the world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph because the famine was severe everywhere.